So I've just woken up. I've slept all afternoon, just recovering from the drugs I took today. Today was pretty traumatizing. I really wasn't looking forward to it because I knew how painful the egg pickup was last time. But I did my best not to think about it and to not stress. And we went out to dinner last night because I just couldn't sit around thinking about what I had to go through today. And then this morning, I ended up being the last one for the list because they weren't expecting me to be ready today for the egg pickup. So I kind of had to wait a while, whereas last time I got in pretty quickly. Last time I went into the clinic at 7 a.m. This time I didn't really go in till closer to 11 and didn't have my procedure till almost 1. I had to fast, even though I had a little bit of milk this morning to take my antibiotics, but I had to fast even though you're not having a general. So I had to sit there all morning just reading my book, waiting to go in, and just be like, oh my gosh, don't think about it, don't think about it, don't think about it. I was pretty uncomfortable this morning, pretty swollen and pretty uncomfortable, and I actually did want some relief from that discomfort, but I wasn't super excited about going through the procedure again. So anyways, they gave me my meds, my Valium, my Tramadol, my Tylenol, Panadol, and I had my green whistle that I had picked up and paid for at the pharmacy. I went through, and last time, my very first time, everybody was so lovely. They were so nice and so supportive. And this time, because I wasn't the last of the list, they had a really busy day, and they had 12 people to do today, and I was the 12th one. And I think maybe because I was the last one, gosh, they were just over it. They just wanted to go home. It's a Friday afternoon, and they'd been going all morning. Anyways, I was the last one on the list, and I think they were totally over it by that point, and you could tell because they were ready to get on with it and go home. So the doctors came out, and last time when I said, oh, I have severe chronic pelvic pain, they were like, oh dear, okay, we're a bit worried about you, hopefully things go okay. Whereas this time I said that about the pelvic pain, and the doctor that had done my initial surgery that had diagnosed me with the endometriosis, he was there today, and they were just like, oh wow, okay, come on, let's go. So I went in, and then last time the scientists came over and introduced themselves and were so nice, whereas this woman came up to me and just said, so what you're doing today is the in vitro insemination? And I was like, the egg pickup? Oh, well, yeah. And she just walked off, and I said, oh, are you the scientist? Her back was turned to me. And I said, are you the scientist? And she said, yes. And I thought, well, wow, isn't this amazing? Like, you don't really remember exactly what people say to you, but you always remember how they make you feel. And today wasn't that great. So I was really cold in the room, and I couldn't stop shaking, and I was just shivering, and it wasn't out of anxiety, it was because I was cold. So I asked the nurses to get me some more blankets, and they did, which was nice. And then the doctor that was going to do the procedure today, she's an old lady, and she's rough as guts. She's so rough. Just when she was cleaning me down there, she was like so rough, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then the other doctor, was like, okay, we're gonna be starting, and they set up the green whistle for me, And this time I was like, last time I can't tell if it did much, so I was like, this time I'm gonna, hopefully get a few more breaths in, beforehand, and really let it kick in before they start. So I really started sucking on it, and then the doctor went in, the older lady went in, and she was pushing really hard, and she was like just really shoving it in there, which was giving me so much pain. So I started sucking on it. I'm like, I need this thing to kick in. And then the other doctor, the guy, was like, we're just doing a scan right now, you don't actually need to be sucking on it. And I was like, I'm already in pain, like, you haven't even started and I'm in pain. And then anyway, she was just pushing and getting really rough, and she was getting really frustrated because she was like, I can't see, like, the something's wrong with the ultrasound machine, I can't really see what's going on. And they're like, oh, and they were all kind of crowding around it, and they were like, I don't know what's going on. And she just kept pushing, and I just kept sucking, and they kept saying, you don't need to use that right now. And then she was like, can someone push on, so then she started pushing on my stomach, like pushing really hard on my stomach while she was probing, pushing the probe against the wall. And all of that was quite painful. And then she was like, can someone come and push? And then then the other doctor came and was pushing on my stomach, and you could tell she was getting really frustrated. She's like, this is not working, I can't see anything, like, what's wrong with this machine? And then she was like, okay, I need to empty your bladder. Okay, honey, I'm gonna catheterize you. So she just shoves the catheter up there, and I had emptied my bladder twice right before I went in, so I knew that my bladder was empty, but I know they have to check it just to see if that's impeding the ultrasound. But anyways, it was just so rough, and the way that it made me feel was horrible. And so then the nurses could tell that so then I stopped sucking on it because they were just scanning me. And then the nurses could tell that I was in quite a bit of pain, so they came over and they were like, honey, you can keep sucking on that. So then I just, so then I really started sucking away at it, and it started kicking in a little bit. And then finally, like, they changed the machine or something. And the doctor finally got a good view, and they went in, and I was just sucking really hard on that whistle. It's like a pungent, sort of sweet, not nice tasting powder that kind of goes to the back of your throat and your mouth, but you just gotta keep using it. And I was gonna take advantage of that thing, and it did start kicking in. But anyway, so they went in with a needle, and it was incredibly painful. So last time throughout the whole procedure, they were there and explaining it to me and telling me exactly what was going on. And they're like, okay, we're going into the left side. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You're doing really great. Keep breathing on the whistle. And then they're like, okay, honey, great job. Okay, we got those. You're doing great. Now we're going into the right side. This time, nothing. I just sat there and breathed, and they didn't say anything at all. And then when they were done, they were like, okay, we're done. Can you stand up? And I was like, yeah, okay, just give me a minute. And then they just made a comment, oh, sorry, we didn't get anything from the right. And so I was like, oh, like, did you get anything? Whereas last time they just told me. I was like, did you get anything? They're like, oh, yeah, no, we got 2. So anyways, I got up, and then I went into the little recovery room, and the nurse put like this little heat pack thing on my stomach that wasn't heating up. And I said to her, oh, I don't think this is working, like, it's not warm, can you check it? And she said, it just takes a while. So I waited for a while, and then finally I called her back, and I'm like, can you maybe get another one? This isn't working, because I was having some spasming in my stomach, and it was quite painful. And then she felt it, and she's like, oh, yeah, you're right, it's not working. So then she went and got me another one. Yeah. So, needless to say, I think maybe the procedure itself wasn't that different, per se. Like, the needle part wasn't that different from last time. But the way people talk to you and treat you is incredible in how it impacts your experience. And you know, you always, it doesn't matter what words they use, you will always remember the way people make you feel. You'll never forget it. You'll always remember. You know, and I even remember, like, this obstetrician that I worked with, she said to me, she said that she had a really horrible midwife that made her feel, just made her feel horrible. And she said she's never forgotten it, and that was 35 years ago. And she said, I'll never forget that, the way that midwife made me feel. So needless to say, today was a lot more traumatic. I cried the whole way home, and then I just came home and took a nap. And I'm just glad that it's over.